Hello, I'm your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my movie series, Nails in a Coffin. I give ratings to kills in horror movies using a scale of 1 nail in a coffin to 4 nails in a coffin. When the victim makes a lot of stupid decisions, like splitting up or running upstairs instead of running outside, they only get 1 nail in the coffin. We all know more nails are better, so the harder the victim fights, the more smart decisions he or she makes, or if it's a really epic death with the victim going out with their boots on, they'll get 4 nails in a coffin. So what movie are we going to talk about today? Well, none other than in 1983's Sleepaway Camp. Funny story how I found this movie. I was originally looking for the movie Summer Camp Nightmare, which came out in 1987. I was in the video store, picked up Sleepaway Camp. For some reason, my brain said, hey, this is Summer Camp Nightmare. So I took it home to watch it. Put it on, I realized that wasn't the movie I was looking for, but I was still hooked into the movie, and it's become one of my favorite early 80s slashers. Sleepaway Camp was directed by Robert Hiltzig, and the only movie that he directed of note was Return to Sleepaway Camp, which had the most annoying character in horror movie history, Alan. I urge you to go check out some scenes with him and you'll see what I'm talking about. I've never wanted a character to get killed more in Return to Sleepaway Camp. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Sleepaway Camp, Angela Baker, and let's get started.
One, two, three, four, don't like Frank, she don't like Foley, she don't like junkie, she don't like drunken, she just wants my people on it. Beep, 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 people on it. Beep, 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 people on it. Beep, 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 people on it.
That was a fun video from Summer Camp Nightmare, a part that I remembered that I always get a chuckle when I hear that song. But Sleepaway Camp. First kill happens about 5 minutes in. John Baker is on a boat with his 2 kids. It gets capsized because his kids are a bunch of schemers. And they're just kind of floating in the water after the boat capsized. They're in a lake, but little do they know there's a speedboat approaching them, driven by a very, very stupid girl who is not paying attention, and she's looking behind her the whole time instead of what's in front of her. So John and his 2 kids see the speedboat approaching by their capsized boat, and I think they had a little bit time to move to not get run over. Fortunately for them, they did not. The speedboat hits them, killing the dad and killing one of the kids. Since they had time to move, I'm going to give them 2 nails in the coffin. Technically, no, it wasn't their fault, but they had time to move to at least 1 or 2 of them, maybe even 3 of them could have survived if they didn't freeze like you always see in horror movies. So, only 2 nails in a coffin for the first kill, and it's John Baker and one of his children. Now, I do have to mention, this is a spoiler-filled episode. If you have not seen Sleepaway Camp, I warn you, it has one of the best twist endings in horror movie history. So if you have not seen Sleepaway Camp and you do not want it spoiled, please stop this video. Even though I don't want you to stop it, I want you to watch it. Go check out Sleepaway Camp. If you're not worried about spoilers or if you've seen it, let's continue on. The next kill happens at 18 minutes in. It's Artie, who's one of the most disgusting, despicable, pedophile characters I've seen in a horror movie. You want this guy to die the second you see what he's all about. Earlier in the film, he tried to sexually assault Angela, who's just a young girl. Well, he gets caught. Later on, he's by this ridiculously high, tall pot of boiling corn. Now, to get to the top of this pot, he's got to step on a stool. This is feasibly impossible in any type of kitchen that you're going to be in. Are they going to have a pot this big full of boiling water, let alone one you have to step on a stool or a chair to get the top off? Plus, after, if it was used, how the hell are you going to get that pot down? And you'll see what I mean in these clips. Well, since he already is such a disgusting scumbag, somebody comes and tries to kill him. He's standing on a chair over this big pot of boiling water that he's going to drop corn cobs in, cooking for the kids in the summer camp. And the person grabs a chair and starts to shake it. Well, he loses his balance and he's holding on to this shelf on top of the boiling pot of water. He easily had a lot of time to jump down or move because he was only standing on a chair and nothing really could have stopped him from jumping down real quick. Well, this person who was shaking the chair and pulls it out from front of him, so this big pot of boiling water falls all over him in an incredible special effect that just looks awesome. This kill is not even a kill really, but I'm going to assume Artie died from his injuries, and when you see the clip and you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. And since I kind of wanted Artie to die, I'm trying not to let that bias my decision, but just based on the fact that he could have jumped down or knocked the pot away or done something, he's only going to get one nail in the coffin, deservedly so. And like I said, when they wheeled him out, he's all bandaged up, screaming bloody murder, like he's really in pain, which is kind of eerie to watch. He's only going to get one nail in the coffin because, yeah, he was stupid and it was typical what you see in horror movies, those dumb decisions. And we all know those dumb decisions, you're not going to get a lot of nails. Our next kill happens at 33 minutes in, and it's Kenny. Kenny's one of the kids that has been bullying and terrorizing Angela, so it looks like somebody's going to get some revenge for her. Kenny's out on a boat late at night, this little canoe with another girl. He starts rocking it back and forth so it capsizes, and he's just a plain old jerk. The girl swims off. Now, Kenny is underneath the boat, the canoe, which is capsized, and he's just kind of playing with the echo in there, singing a nice little song, so to speak.
Hey, Bubba, Reba.
Anyway, somebody comes up from under the water. Kenny sees who it is, and obviously he recognizes them, and he's like, you. Oh, they're going to be happy to know about you in here. And the killer just takes his or her hand and dunks Kenny under the water, and you see his hand up, flailing, and next thing we know, Kenny is dead. I didn't see him resist at all. Now, I'm not a world-class swimmer, not great at it, but if you see something different in this, I just didn't see Kenny resisting at all. I don't see how he couldn't get away since this other person was about the same size of him. So it's not like they had, overpowering strength. And they even say later on in the movie, Ronnie, the camp counselor, who you gotta love his short shorts, even says what a great swimmer Kenny was. So if he's such a great swimmer, it didn't make any sense on how he didn't stop himself from being drowned. So poor old Kenny is only going to get one nail in the coffin because I didn't see him resist, I didn't see him fight, didn't see him struggle or anything. So good old Kenny is only going to get one nail in the coffin. Billy is next to die. He's another kid who was bullying Angela, so somebody got their revenge on him. He goes to use the bathroom. He's inside one of the stalls, and you just see these hands take a broom handle and slide it through the handle so he can't get out. Next thing, there's a knife cutting the screen window that's above his head from the outside, and the killer drops a big nest of bees on top of him.
What is that? What is that? What is it? Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Oh, my eyes! My eyes! Ah! Ah!
Billy was a young kid. He wasn't a weakling or nothing like that, so he could have broken through because you could see the broom handle start to splinter as this person is trying to get out of the stall. Never mind the large gap underneath the stall door that just about anybody could have crawled through. So during this time of panic that he was in being stung, he's going to have a lot of adrenaline. He had more than enough strength to break down that stall door. You even see the broom handle splinter until it breaks at the end for him to get out. Or he could have easily crawled underneath the stall to get out. So again, more dumb decisions. Not a lot of nails for Billy. He's getting one nail in the coffin since he had a lot of different opportunities to get out. He could have climbed through the window. He could have really crashed through that door. He wasn't a small kid, so he had enough strength for it. So poor old Billy is only going to get one nail in the coffin. At an hour and 3 minutes in, our next kill is Meg. Meg is one of the female camp counselors who was bullying Angela. Now, she's in the shower by herself, getting ready for a late night rendezvous or a date with head counselor Mel. This guy. She's gonna go on a date with this guy. Well, no accounting for bad taste, I guess. So she's in the shower. She backs up, washing the soap off of her and whatnot, and a knife comes through the wall behind her, stabs her in the back, and the killer slowly pulls the knife down, killing her. It was a surprise kill for Meg. She had no clue what was going to happen or that she was in any type of danger, so she's not going to lose too many points. But I'm still going to give her 2 nails in the coffin because once she got stabbed in the back, she didn't have, I believe, what would be a natural reflex, which would be to lunge forward to get away from the pain of the pointy, sharp knife in your back. She kind of just stayed against the wall as the killer dragged the knife all the way down her back, killing her. So, no natural reaction. You see that a lot in horror movies, so Meg is only going to get 2 nails in the coffin for her kill. Meg's good friend Judy leaves us next at about 1 hour and 11 minutes into the film. She's in her cabin late at night, curling her hair. She didn't want to go to the social everybody was having, so she's there by herself. Killer walks into the cabin. Obviously, it's somebody that Judy knows. They walk right up to her and just socks her in the jaw really quick, kind of dazing her and knocking her out for a second. So then the killer takes the curling iron, and you only see this part in the shadows, and it's alluded to that the killer puts this curling iron in a very uncomfortable position, so to speak. Now, you don't see a lot of the kill. Most of it is off screen, but you do see in the shadows Judy's arm shoot up in pain. So her arms were free, yet you don't see her arms do anything. They're not swinging to punch, to try and get away or anything. You don't see any real movement other than her arms shoot up. Just didn't do anything other than almost let this kill happen as it was happening. Again, more dumb decisions, and it's just the way characters were written because you have to advance the story and you need people to die in slashers. But unfortunately, that's going to go against Judy, and Judy's only going to get 1 nail in the coffin, seeing as in how she had both arms free, and the person that killed her was about her same size, weight, and everything. So I don't think there's no reason she could have at least tried to defend herself. So poor old Judy, 1 nail in the coffin. Shortly after Judy's death, there are a few more deaths. A bunch of young kids who were on a late-night camping trip overnight. We don't see them get killed. They're just a bunch of kids that were bullying Angela, and again, somebody got revenge on them. We didn't see who did it or how they did it, so I'm not going to rank those kills, knowing that a bunch of young kids were killed by the killer. Now, our last on-screen kill happens about 1 hour and 15 minutes into the movie, and it's head camp counselor Mel, another disgusting, despicable man. He's aware of all the dead bodies piling up in his camp, and he thinks the killer is Ricky, which is Angela's cousin. So he finds Ricky and beats him nearly to death in a really intense scene, especially for the early 80s. It's a pretty intense scene, and he nearly beats Ricky to death. Then he thinks he's killed him. He's like, oh, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. So he goes to, run, and it just so happens he's right there in the archery range. He sees who the real killer is. He sees the person standing there with the arrow in their hand and the bow in the other. So it wasn't drawn back yet. Next scene flashes to Mel, and an arrow goes right through his throat, killing him. Again, another kill where the victim just stands there. Since Mel didn't do anything other than stand there, and when he looked at the killer, the arrow wasn't even in the bow. String wasn't pulled back or anything. It was down at the killer's side. Sees himself could be in potential danger. He knows who the killer is now, and he just stands there. So, good old Mel is only going to get 1 nail in the coffin since didn't do anything. Just stood there and died, which was good. I wasn't unhappy to see him die. Our last kill in this movie is off screen, but we have to talk about it. Angela is on the beach with her suitor Paul, and she's holding his head in her lap, even though his head is no longer attached to his body. He must have found out her little secret and lost his head over it. Angela is a boy. So that accident that happened in the beginning of the film, John and his 2 kids, John Baker and his daughter, were actually killed. Apparently, the grieving mother couldn't handle this, and she raised her son to be Angela Baker, raised him as a girl. And that's one of the big, shocking moments. And it's one of the greatest twist endings in movie history. And that ending is really haunting. Angela's face, the sound that she's making, this guttural growl almost. And you see everything, and everybody's shocked. Like, she's a boy. One of the greatest endings in horror movie history. Well before its time. Just excellent. And if you were lucky enough to watch this movie, as I was, without the ending spoiled, it really does stick with you. So, that's my review on Sleepaway Camp. Great early 80s slasher. I hope you enjoyed this and all the nails that I got to put out. So, again, thank you. I appreciate you checking out this video. If you can please take a second, like, comment, subscribe. Every like means a lot. Every subscribe means a lot to me. So I appreciate everybody who's watching this, and a sincere thank you. I'm your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.